Max Sterling and MIRIYA Perina, once the foremost and fiercest aces of their respective armed forces, now joined together in matrimony, an event celebrated by the entire SDF-1 and its inhabitants. Its importance solemnized by Captain Henry J. Gloval as an example of the possibility of bringing together both the people of Earth and the ZENTRAEDI, who hover like a pendulum over the human race. A pendulum controlled by the commander of their fleet, BREETAI. BREETAI could hardly believe his eyes, seeing the renowned MIRIYA, now tamed by such a timid-looking Micronian. A Micronian BREETAI couldn't have known had also bested himself once. Yet BREETAI saw that look of joy on the Quadrano leader's face, had heard the words of the Micronian commander and his talk of extending the arm of friendship. He had been touched by the sounds of their female enchantress, who had beguiled much of BREETAI's own fighting force already. It had all caused BREETAI to look internally at his own emotions stirred by these events, ignited by these brave warriors found among the Micronian people. Ever since the wedding, the SDF-1 had been tracking enemy movement, seeing some curious repositioning of their fleet. As such, the ship was currently in battle mode, seeing one of the ZENTRAEDI capital ships slowly maneuvering closer. Vanessa warned the captain of its approach, and Gloval immediately orders the main gun aimed directly at it. Sammy and Kim tease each other about whatever the enemy's intentions are here, with Sammy throwing out her wild theories, much to Kim's dismay. But Vanessa interrupts, alerting them all of an incoming message broadcast from the enemy ship, formally requesting a cessation of hostilities and permission to approach closer. Gloval offered the enemy vessel no answer, with either a verbal response or by firing the main gun. Thus, the ship moved in. It was an intimidating moment for Gloval and his crew, to be sure. Of course, they'd love to believe in this possibility. Yet this main capital ship of the ZENTRAEDI was nearly 10 times the size of the SDF-1. And although her main gun was immensely powerful, in a head-to-head fight against BREETAI's ship, it would be an even chance at best if the mighty battle fortress could survive such an encounter. It had already punched it once with the Daedalus, which clearly hadn't caused it any issues. There was nothing left to do but wait as it encroached. As it moved in, a contingent of ZENTRAEDI tri-thruster fighters flew past the oncoming vessel, a move Vanessa, Gloval, and the rest found curious. Even more curious was the ZENTRAEDI command ship firing on these fighters, obliterating the lot of them. While BREETAI watched their destruction at his orders, Chiron called in, questioning BREETAI's motives in eradicating the squadron he'd sent to try and catch the Micronian battle fortress by surprise. BREETAI informs the backstabber that he cannot allow him to interfere with this new diplomatic initiative.
Diplomacy? Ridiculous! Chiron refused to allow the Micronians peace, refused any initiative that did not end in their total annihilation.
BREETAI decided to ignore Chiron's blustering for now. He could handle him later. Closer and closer, this 9-mile behemoth moved towards the SDF-1 until, at least in relative space terms, they were facing off practically nose to nose.
They're just sitting out there, Captain. I guess they're waiting for us to make a move.
Perhaps they really do want peace. Why else would they attack and destroy their own fighters?
Rick, Max, and 2 other Veritechs are sent to intercept a single reconnaissance-style battle pod launched from the ZENTRAEDI ship. One of the pilots flying support voices to Rick how totally weird it feels to be escorting a battle pod to the SDF-1. Rick is inclined to agree. Once this small group is secured in a remote hangar, the 2 support fighters standing at alert on either side of the pod, ready for anything, watch as the hatch opens on the pod, and one lone ZENTRAEDI soldier emerges. Except it turns out, he's not alone after all.
Maintenance crews D through L report to flight deck C immediately.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, please forgive me, Your Excellency. I'm sorry.
How do these Micronians survive with such frail little bodies? Rather an imposing sight, aren't we, eh?
Attention! I am Colonel Maestroff of the United Earth Forces. I bring you greetings from our fleet commander, Captain Global.
Huh?
This is how we greet friends.
Oh. I am called Exodor among my people, Minister of Affairs.
It sounds rather important.
Not really.
I'll take you to the commander. Excuse me, Minister Exodor. Could you ask him to wait here on the flight deck?
Stay here and guard the pod.
Yes, sir.
You men look around and see if you can find him something to eat.
Yes, sir.
Find him something to eat? He's gotta be kidding. I bet all the food in this ship wouldn't even put a dent in his appetite.
Really? I'd sure hate to see the size of their grocery bills at the end of the month. Well, we might as well get started.
I always loved that bit as a kid. Colonel Maestroff took Exodor through the streets of Macross City, which seemed a friendly gesture of trust, and an experience Exodor found fascinating, seeing all the wonders that Rico, Conda, and Braun had reported on. But some of these wonders Exodor found rather unnerving.
That picture on the building over there, would you mind explaining it to me?
Well, actually, it is a little hard to explain.
Aha! Most likely a military secret. Very clever. Indeed.
Yes, of course, a military secret.
Captain Global is informed of Maestroff's arrival to the ship's main conference room, along with the ZENTRAEDI emissary. He leaves with Claudia a standing order that if the enemy vessel, still uncomfortably close, takes any hostile action, she is to fire the main gun immediately. Global hoped the ZENTRAEDI's intentions were true, but no chances could be taken. Within the conference room, Exodor was given the high seat, both as a gesture of respect and a central place to not only be watched from all sides, but to hear whatever he had come to say. It was also rather nice of them to give him a uniform to wear, rather than the bit of cloth and twine he'd arrived in. I suspect Global sent Maestroff to welcome this emissary, to help him get over his own xenophobia, a necessary mandate if they were to achieve peace. Thankfully, Maestroff seemed to be going the extra mile in showing this emissary all due respect. After Global arrived, Exodor found it an honor to finally meet the cunning Micronian captain face to face, and says as much to Global, who responds gracefully. He's given some refreshments as they await some more dignitaries, and whatever exactly the drink was, he finds it delicious enough to accept as second helping. Global and Maestroff discuss whom else they were waiting for to begin, just as the most representative pair they could ask to have at such a meeting enter the room.
Sir, reporting as ordered.
Ah, hello, Quadrano leader.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't realize that you were the emissary.
I found your pairing ritual quite provocative.
Oh, you observed the wedding ceremony? Oh, you probably wondered why we did it.
Yes, just as you're probably wondering what I'm doing here.
Well, yes, I was, sir.
And this must be the male half of your pair.
That's right, sir.
Gee, you don't seem too thrilled about it.
Reporting. Hey, Max, you don't look so good. Are you all right?
That's it.
Huh?
Exodore immediately recognized Rick Hunter from the time he'd interrogated him and 2 other Micronians. A most enlightening experience. And yet he'd always been very curious how they'd managed to escape, asking Rick as much. Rick looks over to Max, who had busted them out. But before they can even begin to go into the details of that whole adventure, another trio from that encounter enter the room.
It's Minister Exodore!
I did not expect to see the instigators of our mass defection show up.
Your Excellency, it wasn't our fault.
That's right. We didn't mean it, sir.
We had no control, sir.
You may relax. I have no intention of harming you.
Phew. Captain Global, the ship's computer will record the proceedings.
Very good. Let us begin. Now then, Minister Exodore. We are unclear as to the exact purpose of your mission here. We've been told very little so far. Won't you please enlighten us?
Your curiosity is understandable, but not everyone is present yet, Captain.
What?
We would like to know more about 2 of your kind, gentlemen. The first possesses powers that are truly extraordinary, and a female who's the core of your psychological assault.
Incredible.
I think he means that movie. They must have seen it and think Lynn Kyle's powers are real.
There is clearly a misunderstanding here. And what does he mean, psychological assault? I can't think of anyone who would be at the core of a psychological assault. It would be helpful if you could be more specific about the female.
She appears to be performing some kind of ritual. A strange little chant.
Do you think he...
No, he couldn't.
Sure he could.
You know. Stage fright, go away. This is my big day. This is my...
So he is talking about Minmay.
You gotta admit, Exodore does a pretty stunning Minmay impression. Rick, Global, and all the others in the room are dumbfounded at this performance, not to mention befuddled that a pop music star could be such an important piece of these sensitive proceedings. Proceedings that certain self-righteous civilians could possibly spoil. This emissary had insisted on the presence of the stars of Little White Dragon, though, and Global relented, ordering their retrieval.
Have the girl brought here.
As Minmay entered, Exodore confirms she is the songstress he meant. She smiles sweetly at him and even notices Rick in the room, who smiles at the sight of her. That smile is quickly dashed by a very grumpy Lynn Kyle, who follows Minmay inside.
That's her, yes.
I'm getting tired of being pushed around by the military.
Now, would somebody mind explaining why it was so important for us to come here?
Don't expect any answers from them, Minmay. They have no concern at all about what we want. That's the way it is, right?
Enough of this nonsense. You will answer our questions. What I am about to tell you is in the strictest confidence. We need total cooperation from both of you. Do you understand?
Yes. Try to be a little more cooperative with him. Your hostility serves no purpose, don't you see?
I love seeing Captain Global shutting down Kyle fast, as well as Minmay seemingly sick of Kyle's constant attitude and rhetoric. The dude definitely needs to chill. Now, with all parties and representatives present, Captain Global officially begins the proceedings, formally asking Minister Exodore why he has come to the SDF-1, lighting his pipe as these negotiations for a ceasefire begin. These proceedings were followed closely by Earth High Command, who received to-the-minute reports. One member of the High Command, Admiral Hayes, moved about on official business to a room full of communications officers, stopping at one duty station in particular. Asking his daughter Lisa how she likes her new position, she initially grumbles at it, knowing the assignment was given to her by him simply to keep her from going back to the battle fortress. They both knew it, but she remained civil with her father. She mentioned she'd heard about a ceasefire actually initiated by the ZENTRAEDI. She hoped this meant that her father would reconsider the use of the Grand Cannon against them. But he spouts his distrust of the aliens and their intentions, and excuses himself before she can make an argument of it. She watches him go, hoping he would ultimately do the right thing, while also severely missing her comrades aboard the SDF-1, wishing not only that she could be with them again, but be in that conference room there as this historic meeting takes place. Exodore insisted on KYLE telling him his military rank and the secret of his powers, which KYLE sneered at. Trying to keep things civil, Global attempted to explain about movies and visual effects, when Exodore pressed them all about the energy wave they'd used to wipe out many ships and one of their own cities. Global openly explains the accident of the barrier system in that encounter, and Exodore slowly begins to realize some of his assumptions have simply been misunderstandings, and that the Micronians do not, in fact, possess some secret knowledge and power, at least to a ZENTRAEDI's understandings of such things. Yet, he is sure that the female Micronians' songs, as they were called, must be derived of some kind of super ability. The captain, Max, and Rick all seem confused, until Braun, Rico, and Konda reiterate that to them who have never heard music, especially Minmay's, it hits them like an incredible power deep down. The awe in their voices as they say this flatters Minmay, whom Exodore regards for a moment, before informing all those gathered that the ZENTRAEDI have long ago encountered a similar power, a society much like the Micronians of Earth. He explains that fighting, war, conquest, and military discipline are the backbone of ZENTRAEDI society. Those phenomena such as music, art, population, and love all detract from that discipline, that ZENTRAEDI culture. And it has, in the past, nearly brought the end of their own society. Thus, they look at such things as an infection amongst their people. That being said, it seems that the ZENTRAEDI fleet under Commander BREETAI, which has pursued and observed the SDF-1 and its people, has now been infected by them to an egregious degree. A degree that Exodore and BREETAI are certain cannot be looked upon with even the slightest allowance by Supreme Commander LORD DOLZA. It would only be a matter of time, by Exodore's estimation, that DOLZA would now mobilize his entire main fleet against not only the SDF-1 and the Earth, but most probably BREETAI, Hazonia, Chiron, and all of their forces as well. Captain Global moves to confirm with Rick and Max that the fleet the emissary is referring to is the same massive flotilla they saw with Lieutenant Hayes, made up of millions of battleships. Rick confirms this as he begins filling with dread at the thought of such a force and the impossibility of defeating it. BREETAI sat in his command bubble awaiting word from Exodore. He is hailed by Commander Hazonia, who begs of him how long he intends to continue this diplomacy, and informs him she's already sent a report detailing the recent cessation of hostilities, MIRIYA Perina's union with the Micronian male, and so on. BREETAI is extremely alarmed at this, finding Hazonia's foolishness baffling. He tells her of the fact that she has now pushed their negotiation to a very speedy end. They would need the Micronians' help if they wish to survive. Not only would they now require the unlimited energy source of protoculture from within Zor's battle fortress, BREETAI knew for sure that DOLZA himself would certainly come, and soon, to obliterate not only the Micronians and their ship, but also the entire ZENTRAEDI fleet that it had infected.
Are you certain of this? Yes, yes. You know what this means, then? I understand.
You must prepare yourselves to escape this star system.
And leave the Earth defenseless?
Yes.
That is out of the question. We have sworn to defend our planet against any aggression.
Yes, I understand. We would not act any differently. And since escape for us would be difficult without your help, it seems that we shall soon be fighting a common enemy.
Huh? What's that?
Our flagship has just now informed me that the main fleet is headed for this star system.
Huh? The main fleet?
Yes, consisting of more than 4,800,000 battle-ready warships, with the destructive force of a small nova.
All right, then. It looks as though we have an important decision to make. Whether or not the Earth can survive such an attack. Only time will tell.
We'll give it our best shot.
You're crazy! A fleet of almost 5 million? There's no way we can fight them off. We're finished.
MIRIYA, darling, I'm afraid this might be the end for us.
I don't care about that, my love. As long as I'm at your side in battle.
Together.
It's not over yet. There might still be a way.
Huh?
Explain.
So far, this vessel of yours has proven itself indestructible. I'm not sure how, but there must be a way to win.
The news of this massive impending attack reached the Earth's Alaskan headquarters quickly, with every soldier and serviceman scrambled to emergency positions. Lisa drove through the vast caverns of the underground base, headed to the command core to make one final request of her father. Of all the people on the surface of the Earth, she alone had seen this incoming fleet with her own eyes and knew the chances of Earth surviving its attack were 0. She also knew whom she wished to face such a fate with, if given the choice. The command core was already detecting high energy levels deep in space, knowing it was the result of fold and defold activity. The place was abuzz with status updates, reports, and conversations as Lisa spied her father in the middle of one now.
It doesn't look so good.
Ah, Admiral.
Lisa, dear, I'll talk to you later. Well, what is it? Huh?
Father, what's going to happen to the ship?
It'll be destroyed. We want to use it to draw their fire away from the Earth and the rest of our forces. Sort of a decoy.
No, you can't.
I'm sorry, Lisa. There's no other choice.
Father, may I ask a personal favor?
What is it?
I want you to send me back to the battle fortress.
No, that's completely out of the question.
My place is with those whom I've fought alongside for so long. Don't you understand? Father, you've got to let me go back up.
You're serious about this?
Yes, believe me.
I'm sorry, but
But you won't.
I can't permit it. I cannot allow my only daughter to sacrifice her life in a foolish attempt at heroism. Can't you understand that?
I am an officer.
Of course.
Then reassign me, please.
Listen to me. Even though I'm your father, I promise you, if you try to leave, I'll have you thrown in the brig.
What now, Zonia?
Well, there are very few options, and Dolza will probably exterminate us now that we've been exposed to the micronium. I will stay and face the fleet. It will be a great honor to go with you into battle, Commander.
Commendable. May you win every fight.
And you too, BREETAI.
Chiron, your plan.
You know my answer. The odds are too great. My fighter can't win, BREETAI.
As I expected, Chiron, I wasn't depending on you anyway.
You would be destroyed! All right, let's go.
What coordinates?
Any place else in the universe but here. Did you hear me?
But, sir...
What is it?
We can't run.
You think not? Watch them.
Chiron wouldn't be missed. BREETAI regarded calling him in to help with the capture of the battle fortress as a rare misstep on his part, a costly mistake. The greatest battle of BREETAI's life was ahead of him, and he was prepared to face this challenge as a true ZENTRAEDI, whatever his own fate may be. Exodore was confident sheer numbers and brute strength would be all Dolza would implement, and really, with such a fleet, it's the only strategy he would need. However, there was the slightest, most remote chance that the greatest ally that the Earth and its new colleagues had was hubris. If Dolza assumed the Earth and its allies were too weak to mount any counterattack, perhaps there was an opportunity to attack Dolza's main massive command ship and scatter the fleet into disarray.
Of course. In short, we crushed the head of the snake.
With their attack forces in disarray, our only chance for survival is to utilize the combined forces of the SDF-1 and our battle fleet.
Do you realize what you're saying?
Since Dolza knows we have already been exposed to your culture, there is no option but to fight.
What's this?
This is how we greet friends.
Oh.
I'm glad that we are fighting on the same side.
It was a historic handshake, a monumental moment as the people of the SDF-1 joined forces with the very ZENTRAEDI armada originally sent to antagonize and capture the battle fortress. Exodore then acknowledged Minmay, recognizing her, and that this new alliance would never have been without her music and voice, which she found flattering and humbling. KYLE clearly hated all of this. Strange, since this meeting had just brought about the very peace KYLE claimed to champion. Exodore exclaimed to all present that he was finally beginning to understand the Micronians' true power, to use song and music to inspire hope and courage in the people of Earth, to give them the strength to stand against all odds. He then implored Minmay to sing for them at this time to inspire such strength as they prepared to face such odds. Minmay graciously accepted, her song bringing hope, comfort, and motivation to all those gathered, blowing Exodore away with her charm, even giving Gloval pause, and absolutely delighting Rico, Conda, and Braun with this live performance. Max and MIRIYA felt their own bond strengthened by Minmay's gift, and Rick soaked in the moment, overwhelmed by a flood of long-buried emotions for her. KYLE was perhaps the only one in the room unmoved by this song, as he saw this entire situation as not only coming from a controlling military, but he saw his own control and hold over Minmay slipping. The rest of the ship was just beginning preparations for this impending assault, as the radar room suddenly detected the inevitable, unfathomable energy release of countless battleships defolding above the Earth between it and the SDF-1. Even Vanessa's high-end instruments can't keep up with the number. Lisa and her father hear the warning sirens blare with the detection of immeasurable defold activity, along with the call to battle stations. More and more ships appear in Earth space in swarms, numbering in the millions, surrounding the entire planet, positioning for attack. The bridge crew almost hate to interrupt the captain with this news, barely minutes after finally achieving this truce with BREETAI's people. But Claudia appears to inform Gloval and the rest of this sudden appearance of their new common enemy. All of them can hardly believe their eyes, can barely comprehend the amount of ships they found themselves up against, and the power Dolza wielded with this fleet. It was even visible in the night sky from the surface of the Earth. Rick had seen this fleet before, and even he stared in disbelief as the reality of their situation was sinking in. The fate of the entire human race and their planet Earth now depended on the SDF-1, its new ZENTRAEDI friends, and the small spark of hope they had that their combined forces stood any chance of beating back the grand fleet of Lord Dolza.